Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are still in the process of wrapping up Game of Thrones. But ever since Wednesday, when HBO announced that it ordered a sci-fi series from the duo set in an alternative timeline where slavery still exists, the pair have had to turn their attention to their next project, and more specifically, the controversy already surrounding it. Titled Confederate, the drama chronicles the events leading to the Third American Civil War. The series takes place in an alternate timeline where the southern states have successfully seceded from the Union, giving rise to a nation in which slavery remains legal and has evolved into a modern institution. The project almost immediately drew criticism across social media for its depiction of present-day slavery. In an interview with New York's Vulture, Benioff and Weiss, along with fellow Confederate writers, African-American husband and wife team Malcolm and Nichelle Tramble Spellman, defended the project and urged those upset parties to wait until the episodes actually premiere, which is not expected for at least a year, if not more. It's just a little premature, Benioff said about the initial outrage surrounding the series. You know, we might F it up, but we haven't yet. Benioff and Weiss are no strangers to controversy and criticism despite their massive critical and commercial success with Game of Thrones. Among many other topics, the series has been criticized for its depiction of violence against women more specifically, and its depiction of race, which Weiss also addressed. We know that the elements in play in a show like Confederate are much more raw, much more real, and people come into them much more sensitive and more invested than they do with a story about a place called Westeros. We know they are different things, and they need to be dealt with in very, very different ways. And we plan, all of us I think, to approach Confederate in a much different spirit by necessity. At another point, he also defended the show's premise as being based in an alternate history. Weiss said, "It goes without saying slavery is the worst thing that ever happened in American history. It's our original sin as a nation. And history doesn't disappear. That sin is still with us in many ways. Confederate, in all of our minds, will be an alternate history show. It's a science fiction show. One of the strengths of science fiction is that it can show us how this history is still with us in a way no strictly realistic drama ever could, whether it were a historical drama or a contemporary drama. It's an ugly and painful history, but we all think this is a reason to talk about it, not a reason to run from it." So guys, what's your take on Confederate? Let me know in the comments. For the Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Paul Costabile. This episode of the Hollywood Reporter News is brought to you by American Airlines, Hollywood's favorite airline.